Right, on to the Floatfish Farm Festival. 2 day one, done on obviously on points and then on weight. Um, Again, there've been a few dropouts on it. There's a few people now, lockdown's over and stuff, they're having to get back to work, want to be earning some money. So I think it was due for 48 people and it dropped down to 36 in the end. So not a massive festival, good standard of anglers though. It was on Phoenix and two islands. Now, Phoenix, as you all remember from the 3 day festival, is can be a very cruel lake. That's the best way I can put it. You either catch a lot or you watch other people catch a lot. I don't know why, there's loads of fish in there. In the winter it seems quite fair. In the summer there's just pegs they want to be in and pegs they don't. You really need corners and ends. The ends down the bottom end, the 30s dominate, but the other end is generally really good as well. The fairest section is the 20s where you're all in a row. That's good, but where we all drew, me and Jimmy and John Winkup all drew like 7 or 9 in the first festival, and you just don't compete with the ends. Didn't want to be drawing around there. And I drew on Phoenix the first day. I've drawn peg 11 and I was actually really happy with that. In the festival, the first one, 11 is the end, and then you've got 12 and 13, you're in the corner, they don't put them in. Round to 14 is the next one, and then 16. 16's a really good peg, great edge peg, there's all lilies in the corner and they catch in there. So I was really happy actually. I thought, yeah, I can win from there. Got to move peg, parked my van at peg 12 and unloaded my stuff up to 11. Then our lads turned up on 12, they pegged it differently and 12 was now the end. And instantly I thought, it's not going to be anywhere near as good, you need those corners. I was now in no man's land, so my section was 9, 11, 12, 14 and 16. And I knew you'd struggle to beat 12, 14 and 16, so not great in all honesty. But that summed up the last few days. It's one of them, you're never quite sure what to do on there. What one person catches on, you might be next door and not catch on. Really can't seem to get a pattern to that lake at all. I've won loads there in the winter, won every match of fish there in the winter, but in the summer it's just not meant to be. So I've set up to fish. I thought I'd be really negative. It was getting a bit cooler. Everywhere wasn't fishing great. I thought I'll fish micros and expanders. Now it slopes away to about 8 foot, so you've got a few different depths you can fish in, and then it showers right up to the island. So I've set a pellet feeder for across again. I've set up a rig for fishing pellets, like nice heavy floats so you can lower it down. I'll get a video done on that sort of fishing soon. It's something I love doing, and we are getting into that time of year where micros and expanders are going to be really good. So I will get that done. So I've set up a rig for fishing it's a top 4.5 as such. I've set everything up on short kits. For further out, wanted a short kit and a short 4 on it as well. But I just think they're all smaller carp. 14 to 16 slick in a short kit is perfect on there. Lots of control. When you catch, you need to be catching quite quick because they are smaller fish. So it's a short kit, short 4, my number 5 and a dolly butt. And that's where I've started. So it is like just short of the top 5. That put me in about 4 foot of water. Set up a rig to fish micros and expanders there. I've set up a rig. I've set up some shallow rigs because there's eyed and stuff to catch. Which I thought if it's really bad might get me out of trouble. I set that up to fish on like a top 6, a couple more sections further out, and that put me in about 6 foot of water. So I've set a rig up for fishing on the deck there with worms underneath that. Wasn't going to feed worms, just throw casters there if I felt I needed to. Then I've set up a rig for fishing, a nice positive rig for like in the 7.5 foot, 13 metres, or 14, wherever I felt I needed to go, and that was going to cover me. Not set up the edge, didn't think that'd be very good. Started on the feeder, started on short on the pole. It took me 10 minutes for a bite. I was just about to come off it. There'd been a couple caught on the feeder by other anglers, 16, and that corner had caught a few. and I haven't gone, and then it's gone under, and I've actually caught 5 or 6 carp really quickly. They're anything from like 12 ounce to £3, and then it's sort of died. So I've started throwing meat on that. I've had a little light rig for fishing meat. Meat short's really good, so I've started feeding meat there. Gone out to like a couple more sections into the deep bit. Did brought 6 foot. I've actually thought, right, expanders could be good here as well. So I've put them on my worm rig. It's the same rig for fishing underneath the casters. Started tapping balls of mine because it was deep. I fed little balls, squeezed them, little ball in the toss pot, tap it in, lower it right down over it. And I've started catching really well, and I've had a really good run in all fairness. Wasn't a huge amount, 16 was catching a few, but other than that there wasn't a lot being caught, and ran the whole lake, it's fishing hard. A few there, and then I've had to move, just chase them around where they've moved, gone that way a bit, plumbed up, same depth, then I've gone that way, and caught a few, and halfway through I was thinking, I'm doing alright here. And then all the people were room. I've tried to feed her a couple of times because it was slowing right up. Caught a couple on it, but it wasn't right. And then 12 shut the feeder out and it's gone around every chuck. 14s started catching on meat short, one a bung. And 16 started catching one a bung on pace short, and I just thought, oh no. I've gone on my meat line, I've never had a bite on it, not a bite all day. And I should have just persevered, chasing them around for a little bit longer, and I've started throwing casters for my shallow line. I've tried long, that was rubbish. So I fished caster shallow for an hour. I've caught 2 big, like £3, £4 eyed, some smaller ones, but I was just watching them getting one a bung, all of them, and my head sank a little bit, if I'm honest. With an hour to go, I've just gone for broke. I've filled a big pot up, completely with meat and hemp, tipped it in the deep water, gave it 10 minutes to settle, gone over it, a piece of meat, and I've had bites straight away. In the end, I've changed to fishing a big worm over it, just so it was nice. You were getting lots of indications with meat in that deep water for the size of fish. I was missing bites and you were having to reach it. Just sat a big worm over it, and the last 40 minutes I couldn't get in quick enough. But I knew I hadn't quite done enough. And come the weigh-in, I've had £101. Beat everyone round to 16 who's had £112. He's beat me by £10.5, I think. And I was actually second on the lake, so I picked up some money for second on the lake. But I knew you would need 2 wins to get in there. Only paying because of the dropouts. They wanted to keep the £1,000 top price, so they've only paid the top 3 in the festival, and I thought you're going to need 3 wins to get in. So it's pretty much game over at that stage, unfortunately. Really disappointed because I did learn loads about the lake and what I should have done. Filled it in sooner. There's fish in that deep water and you have to feed a lot to drag them in. Should have just plodded around, caught them for another hour. Even though it was slower than the anglers round from me, I had got a bit of a lead on them. I should have just carried on topping it up and then really gone for broke long with 2 hours to go. I could have won the lake, could have got £130, I think. So yeah, that was the first day. Day 2 was on 2 islands. Again, hadn't fished great the first day. John Wincup had won it with £170 shallow. He had drawn the noted peg that had been the peg to draw last few weeks. And then 130 was second. It hadn't fished amazingly well. Were an odd fish caught. Most of the fish were short. John was the only one that caught shallow. I spoke to a few people. They said, don't waste your time too much shallow because we've all done it and no one's had a bite on it. John's just been on a bit of a ball of fish. Short and the bomb was the way to go. And then the edge maybe. So I've drawn peg 10. Now, if you remember in the festival, I drew peg 10 in the festival, but 12 was the end peg, cut me off completely. It's not a good area. But 10 was the end peg this time, so I've got some room to draw some fish in from. Instead of like stopping at 12 and then starting at 20 again, missing all the bait up, there was 10, then I had a load of room, 16 was next, then 20. So I split the fish up a bit. It's not the best area. And I did actually quite fancy it. Now, again, speaking to people, I was going to fish meat short again, but there are a couple of quick fish to catch on pellet short. It's a lot more positive. Like, you get a quicker bite on it. The noise it makes just brings them straight in. So I've set up an edge rig for, you can only fish a top 4 because the bank will come back behind you with some trees. It was 2 foot deep, looked lovely, thought I'd catch a load there in all honesty with the room. I've set up a light meat rig for like 4v12 carbon because there wasn't a lot of wind. I'm fishing in like 7 foot on a top 5. I've set up a 418 for fishing pellets there, so I could load down and I could change the hook length and fish meat on it as well if I wanted. And I've set up a 416 wire for a top 4. As you remember, there have been times when there's a lot of fish there where you have to come back, and that puts you in like 4.5 foot, which is a lot better than 7 foot. Just that one section helps keep them down. So I set 3 shallow rigs up, didn't really expect to use them. And then I've set up a method for over to the island. You can ping 8 mils to the island there, as I did in the festival, and it gives you a chance of, you can draw fishing. It's sort of a bomb stroke method combined, because it's not very wide, it's only 22, 23 metres to the island there, so you can ping 8 mils on it. So I was going to do that as well, and that was going to be my match, nice and simple. Started off on a top 5 with hard pellets, and I thought I might get 1 or 2 here. To be honest, it's been really, really good for an hour. I've caught £50, 10 carp for £50 the first hour. There wasn't a lot being caught, so I was really, really happy with that. I've been pinging the across as well, and then it's gone flat calm. And as any video I've done on Floatfish, as soon as the ripple goes, you don't get a bite. And that's how it was. I've gone from catching £50, and in the next 3 hours I've caught 3 little carp on the bottom. I could see tails out over by the island, but you could not get a bite. It was weird. I spoke to my mate Russ, who was fishing on the lake as well. He'd had the same, and he said, "Hairy a couple of worms, chuck them on your bar over by the island." I did that and actually caught 2. It worked really well. That was something I'm definitely going to remember. Just give them a focus hook bait. They're only little carp. And then all of a sudden, the sun's gone in and it started raining, and we got a bit of ripple on the water. And instantly the bombs started going around every time. I had a good little run on that, and I thought I've started really attacking my edge. I changed to throwing meat short as well. Saw some coming in the edge, dropped in, caught one straight away, like £7. And then I've never had another bite in the edge. It was really bizarre. I thought with the room it'd be good, but wasn't. Some people have caught in the edge, but they just didn't come in there. They either come into your peg or they don't on there. I don't know why. So I've gone on my meat line, top 5, caught 3 or 4 straight away, and then started fair looking. So I've not messed around. Instantly started again on a top 4 in the shallow water, and it's been one of them. It's been absolutely brilliant, if I'm honest. There were some big fish as well. Fished heavy gear. I was on for a right big weight, and then the last half hour stopped raining, sun's come out, never caught another fish. And it's just bizarre. I've never known anywhere so dominated by ripple, especially with it being deep. You wouldn't think it'd matter, but it does. Now we're coming the weigh in. I would have weighed £185, but I've gone £4 over on a net, so I've weighed 181. Won my section. I think £40 was next in the section. It's been, so it wasn't the right end to be, but I fished a really good match, I felt. Just shame I went over on my nets, because there was, further down the lake, there was 183. So I would have won the lake, but was second on the lake again. And I've actually finished, so another pickup, but 5th in the festival. There were 4 people with perfect score. I've actually had the biggest weight out of anyone over the 2 days, so that £10 more the first day has cost me winning the festival, and I should have caught it. I come away really frustrated about it. I fished so well for 3 hours the first day, and then lost control of it a little bit. To be honest, that lake, I'm just not quite sure what I'm doing on there at times. I'm not alone. John Wincup was favourite to win the festival after his first day win. And he's come nearly last in the section on there the second day. That's just how it is on there. There is no right or reason to it, but if I'd have been a bit more positive later on, a bit sooner, I would have won the festival. So a bit frustrating, but again, picked up some money. So I've picked up nearly £1,000 already, and we've still got the rookery one to go, which is, water I'm never very far away on until this week. So I will get a video done on that. It's not been the greatest 2 days, I'll be honest. So we'll move on to that and get a video done on that. See you again soon.